Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the Sun transiting the seventh house in a natal chart. Now, a transit by the Sun in a natal chart, it lasts in a house for about 30 days on average because the average house size is 30 degrees and the Sun transits at about it moves at about 1 degree per day approximately. So, however, since house sizes varies, if your house is a little bit smaller, say that your house size is 25 degrees, then the sun will traverse the house for approximately 25 days. However, if your house size is a little bit bigger, say it's 35 degrees, then that sun will transit your house for approximately 35 days. Well, anyway, people, as far as the sun transiting the seventh house, well, the focal point at this time might be relationships. They may very well be paramount at this particular time. If you don't currently have a significant other, it might be a time where you decide to embark on this mission, so to speak, in order to find one. Relationships can figure very, very strong, very prominently. It may be a period where you may decide to go on to whether it's Facebook to obtain more people in your life, or you may go on to, say, a dating website and try to find that person that you may want to spend the rest of your life with. This could be a thing where partnerships can come into play much stronger than usual. You may feel like doing things where you're collaborating with others as opposed to doing them by yourself. You won't be so much, odds are, at least the percentages say you won't be so much about um, solitude and seclusion during this time. You really want to, it might be a more time where you're more gregarious, more outgoing. You don't like to really necessarily want to be alone in this period. It is really what it comes down to. And this could be a period where there may be a strong concentration of energy, perhaps on legal matters. If you are in a legal situation, they may figure more prominently, and you may put a lot more emphasis and concentration of energy on this. This could be a period where the open adversaries may come very strong and may be brought to the forefront, so to speak. And you may have to deal with them a little bit more than you would ordinarily. And it could indicate that you have to remember that the house where the sun transits, it's that area where you feel like you need to shine in that period. And you may want to, it might be a thing where you want to shine when in relationship scenarios. You may really have a little greater popularity in this period, or seek to have more friends and more people in your life, and to be part of a group and part of places where people congregate, and being more in a crowd as opposed to being by yourself. So, and also in partnership situations as well, whether this could be a business situation or it could be a significant other, that is where you may want to shine. And also, as far as the legal situations, well, if legal situation is taking place for somebody that has the sun transiting their seventh house in their natal chart, this is an area, I mean, we all want to be triumphant in legal situations, don't get me wrong, but it might be even a more need to quote unquote shine in this period and really and emerge victorious. There might be that emphasis on really doing what you can in a legal matter or situation, and really strutting your stuff, and as far as winning perhaps, for example, a court battle. And this could be a thing where this could emphasize sociability a lot more than ordinarily. And you may really, this could be also about finding equilibrium in your life, and really finding ways to disperse energy evenly, finding something where you're going to do a little bit of this here, a little bit of this here, and find a way to, you're going to take your energies, and try to do maybe disperse them evenly into different areas of your life. So really, and it's also a time where you might be less egocentric than usual and more about other people as opposed to self-aggrandizement and doing things for your own self. So that's really some things to consider in this period. And it could also be a period for perhaps where reconciliation is more prominent than usual. And you might show a lot of concentration of energy in this. You may wind up, maybe if you have a mutual friends that are quarreling, for example, wind up acting as somebody that intervenes and tries to find a solution for both people and helps them reconcile any possible dispute or argument. Well, also it's important to look at it as far as the position of the sun, because this could flavor the interpretation a little bit. Like, say, for example, if the sun transiting your seventh house is in Aries for either the majority or the whole period that it's transiting the seventh house, this could indicate perhaps that maybe there might be some situations, maybe in relationships, that might be somewhat combative and quarrelsome. I'm not saying necessarily physically combative, but just maybe somewhat acrimonious and contentious. Now, so let's say that the sun is transiting Capricorn for the majority or the whole period that it's transiting the seventh house. This could indicate there may be some real strong seriousness connected with what you're doing, whether it's connected with relationships, partnership situations, and it could emphasize business perhaps a little bit more, since Capricorn is a sign that's really strongly associated with that. And also, if you have also the aspect, if you look at the aspects that the transiting sun makes to your planets during this period, could be important as well. Now, let's say that the transiting sun in the seventh house squares natal Mars in this period. Well, this could indicate that maybe you may have some distorted or vacillation of energy in terms of what you're doing, and in terms of situations, perhaps with partnerships and relationships, and maybe where you might put a lot of energy one moment into something connected with the relationships, partnerships, the open adversaries, perhaps even things connected with negotiation, and that's one thing to look at. For example, another example could be, let's say that the transiting sun in the seventh house makes a sextile or trine to the natal Mercury in that period. Well, this could indicate that things connected as far as the partnerships and the relationships, where you have that strong emphasis perhaps on that with the sun transiting the seventh house, where you may be able to articulate and verbalize these needs very well at this particular time, and be very communicative with those people that you're dealing with in this period of that transit, of that, for the at least for that time, for that period, that short period where this transiting sun makes that sextile or trine to your natal Mercury. And before, when I said the square to the natal Mars, when I was talking about the example for the sun square the natal Mars, I was also applying to an adverse aspect in general from the transiting sun to the natal Mars, which could also be an inconjunct or an opposition. Well, anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the transiting sun, or I should say the sun transiting the seventh house in a natal chart. And stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the sun transiting the eighth house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone. Because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.